Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Curcio. I'm a trial lawyer here in Alexandria in Curcio Law, with Curcio Law. And we are very happy to partner with Bishop Ireton High School in support of the Students Against Destructive Decision program. I'm going to be presenting a End Distracted Driving talk today. This is a talk that's been given throughout the country in all 50 states to more than 100,000 students and new drivers. And my goal here is to provide you with information to help you and your loved ones make safe decisions when it comes to driving. What is distracted driving? Distracted driving is being engaged in any activity that takes your attention away from the primary task of driving. What's important about that is it's not necessarily using a cell phone. It could be anything, looking at the radio, adjusting your navigation system. It's anything that takes away your attention from the primary task of driving. There are three types of distractions: manual, visual, and cognitive. Visual distraction is when you take your eyes off the road, and manual distraction is when you take your hands off the wheel to adjust the radio or adjust the navigation system. Cognitive distraction is when you are basically thinking about something other than your driving. And I joke about when I got my driver's license in 1972, that my biggest distraction then, or the biggest distraction that we had to deal with, was an FM radio. So we recognize that you have a lot of distractions and that it's hard to focus on your driving, but it really is a situation of making life and death decisions. So I want you to be aware of that. So here's an example. I'm going to show you an example of an actual bus driver up in Canada, which shows all three different types of distractions. He was caught driving and by a passenger who recorded him. Pretty incredible behavior. And that was a professional driver. Happy to report that the passenger who videotaped him sent that to the bus company, and he was fired. But it shows the level of distraction of that driver. And he put, if you think about it, he put everybody on the bus at risk. He put other drivers on the road at risk, and he put pedestrians on the sidewalk at risk. And why was he doing what he was doing? Because he was trying to save a few minutes at the end of his workday doing paperwork while driving, as opposed to doing it while the bus was stopped in the depot. So that demonstrates that distracted driving oftentimes is a selfish choice. You're trying to save some time and doing two tasks or more than two tasks at once, and you are distracted from your driving, put everybody else at risk. This is Casey Feldman. This is how I got involved in this program, this End Distracted Driving program. Casey was a young woman, grew up in Philadelphia, was attending Fordham University in New York, and in the summer of 2009, she was working at the Jersey Shore during the summer, and she was crossing the street in the middle of the day in a marked crosswalk, and a driver driving a van took his eyes off the road, reached down to get a soda, hit Casey and killed her. Her father, Joel Feldman's a trial lawyer in Philadelphia. He and his wife, Diane, were devastated. Didn't want to see it happen to anybody else. And they came up with this, they developed this program designed to provide young drivers, high school students with information about the risk of distracted driving to help you make safe decisions. Casey, I look at her and I have a son, same age, my oldest son, Peter. Born in 1988. I look at Casey and I think, God forbid, that could have been my son Peter, or it could have been any one of his friends. There are many types of distracted driving, not necessarily illegal, things that are illegal, such as using a cell phone. And here's a demonstration of that. Excuse me, let me go back.
What are you doing? You can't text and drive. I'm texting and change the music. There's no law against that. But it's distracting. What else is distracting but not illegal? That. Yes! Beat the level. Nice. Shut up. No. Cilantro to mix that basil. Apparently lots of things are distracting. Well, remember, just because they're not illegal doesn't mean they're safe. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do any of those things. Still got cilantro in my teeth.
So that was some extreme examples, but it makes the point that not everything that's all because it's legal doesn't mean it's not distracting. So please keep that in mind as you're driving, and avoid doing activities that are distracting and take you away from the primary task of driving. Two sides to distracted driving, and I see this in my practice. When people are injured, you have the person who's injured in the crash, but then you also have the person who caused the crash or the death, and they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. And this is an example of a young woman talking about what happened with her.
I wasn't texting, I wasn't using a cell phone, but I still killed someone. I was 17, prom was coming up, I was ready to leave high school, I was excited about the summer and going off to college.
My mom and dad were both teachers, and they met at an elementary school where they were teaching. People would describe him as a gentle person. He was my dad. He was a great dad. He was the greatest dad I could have had.
I was on my way back from my clarinet lesson. I was hungry, so I was looking at my GPS.
All throughout high school, he was there for me every step of the way. He coached me in sports. He was there for every single one of my games.
My car drifted into the breakdown lane on the side of the highway, and I hit a man and I killed him. I'm responsible.
I was 6 months pregnant when my dad died. I knew he was going to be such a fantastic grandfather. And when she smiled for the first time, he wasn't there to share it with.
When I was driving, I had a choice. I could have pulled over to the side of the road just a few seconds. It changes everything. It's just hard.
I think the hardest part has been raising a baby and knowing that he wasn't there to celebrate those beautiful moments.
I think about my friends. I think about the choices they make. They think it's not gonna happen to them.
My mom has this incredible grandchild, but she can't share it with her husband. She doesn't have that partner.
Learning that he had a family, that he had a daughter that was about to have his first grandchild, that he was about to be a grandfather, and I took that away from them. I caused his death.
I think of all the things that my dad has taught me and about the love that we had as a family.
Distracted driving is a choice, and it's a selfish one to make.
Yeah, I think about that young woman, Kate, getting ready to graduate high school, going off to prom, and now she has to live with knowing that she killed someone for the rest of her life. You can see the guilt and the burden that she carries. Inattention blindness. Inattention blindness is a term that's used to describe basically when you fail to see what's there to be seen because you're distracted. If you're driving and you're not expecting to see something in the roadway and it's there, your mind, it just doesn't register in your mind. It's looking but not seeing. If you are cognitively distracted, will Bluetooth or voice-to-text features be safe? I used to, before I started doing this presentation, I used to use hands-free thinking it was safe, but studies show that there is no added safety to a hands-free Bluetooth system because you're still cognitively distracted. There's a study that was done by the National Security Council in March of 2010. No safety benefits from hands-free versus handheld cell phone. Similarly, voice-to-text technologies are no safer than manual texting. The reason for that is because people take, after they speak into the cell phone, they look down to see if the text was transcribed correctly, and that takes your eyes off the road, and you're also cognitively distracted. This is an example. This is a video that was done to explain further the distracted mind.
Sometimes our mind wanders, and when we snap back to reality, we have no idea what we missed or how long we were gone. Daydreaming isn't the only thing that causes this inattention blindness. When we talk on the phone while driving, there are periods when we go blind to our environment without realizing it. So billboards, cars, kids playing, even stop signs and red lights can pass us by unnoticed. Certain things may seem harmless, but some activities just aren't safe to combine. Our brain is not wired to pay attention to more than one complex task at a time. What we're actually doing when we think we're multitasking is quickly shifting our focus from one activity to another. So while our mind is engaged in applying makeup, arguing with backseat drivers, fumbling for a water bottle, or a conversation, it's blind to the road. In fact, drivers are 4 times more likely to crash while talking on the phone, and 23 times more likely while texting. Driving can feel uneventful, but it really takes our full attention to keep the car on the road. We're surrounded by distractions that can hijack our focus. Whether we let them is up to us.
Think about that. 4 times more likely to have a crash if you're talking on a cell phone, 23 times more likely to have a crash if you're texting. I'm sure that all of you, through driver's ed and the just awareness about the risk of drunk driving, appreciate what a 0.08 blood alcohol level is. Here in Virginia, that is, you are legally intoxicated. Studies have shown that with a 0.08 blood alcohol level, you are 4 times more likely to have a crash. And where did we just hear that statistic? Same thing with driving while talking on a cell phone. So I know none of you would go out and get drunk and drive, but people do drive while on a cell phone, not recognizing how dangerous it is. How long does it take to send the average text? How long do you take your eyes off the road? Studies have shown that the average text takes about 4 seconds. At 50 miles per hour, you are traveling at 75 feet per second. Which means that over the course of sending a text, you travel 300 feet the distance of a football field. I don't think anybody here would drive down 95 at 50 miles per hour for 4 seconds with their eyes closed, but that's what you're doing if you are driving at 50 miles per hour sending a text. What can happen when you are not driving but text or call someone who is driving? You may think you're safe because you're at home and you're on your cell phone, but if you call somebody who's driving, it's distracting to that person. And here you're going to hear people talking about the effects of that. Let me go back, sorry.
Ashley would text hundreds of messages every day. That was the way we kept in touch. We would definitely text more than we talked.
Mariah was a multitasker extraordinaire.
She could text better than anyone I know. She could be having one conversation with me, completely focused,
while having a text conversation with somebody else.
When you do something 7,000 times a month, you tend to learn where those 26 letters are.
We would be at school, at home, movies, bowling, driving,
not even looking at her phone.
just simple,
Insignificant.
Useless things, whatever it may be.
about anything and everything.
Just a way to pass the time.
It didn't matter where we were constantly texting. This is my sister. She was looking at my message that I had just sent her. When she looked up, she had clipped the median on the left-hand side of the road. Her truck flipped, and as it was flipping, she was actually ejected through the driver's side door, and she landed in the ditch about 300 feet from her truck. People will tell you over and over again, it's not your fault. But knowing that you were the person that she was talking to when she was killed, just knowing, having a highway patrol officer write in a report that a text message sent at 12:05 is the reason that she is dead is not something that will ever go away. If I could talk to her one last time, I would just say I'm sorry. This is her cell phone that she used in the accident. 4 little letters. That's what killed her.
Just think about that. Just passing the time while driving, sending insignificant messages, really meaningless, just passing the time. Simple word, yeah, is what caused her sister to drive off the side of the road. So be mindful of the fact that when if someone else is, if you call someone or if you text somebody, they're driving, just tell them to call you or text you when they're safe and are no longer driving. Friends don't let friends drive distracted. You have the ability to keep yourself safe and your friends safe. Studies show that 78% of teen drivers say that they would stop texting and driving if friends told them that it's wrong or stupid. 90% say that they would stop if a friend in a car asked them to, and almost half say they would be thankful if a passenger complained about their texting while driving. So you have the ability to affect your friends' behavior. So speak up, keep yourself safe and keep your friends safe. What can you and your family do to drive safe? And again, we get back to these are all choices that you make. You can drive without sending or receiving a text. You can call or text before you start driving to let your parents, friends, and others know when you'll arrive. You can pull over to a safe location to check, text, or listen to a voicemail. You can have your passenger handle your cell phone or text while you're driving. When alone, just turn your cell phone off. Wait to text or call others until they have stopped driving. Stop texting or end a phone conversation if you know someone is driving. Pull over to a safe location or wait until you are finished driving to eat or apply makeup. Each of us has the power to choose to drive distraction-free, and that's really what we want to leave you all with, is that it really is a choice. And you can choose, that you can change not only the way you drive, but you can affect how other people drive, those you care about. Our goal is to make distraction-free driving socially accepted and expected, just the way driving not under the influence of alcohol is today. And that whole alcohol campaign got started by mad mothers who were tired of having their sons and daughters killed by drunk drivers. So please make the correct choices. Do not drive distracted. Choose to drive distracted free. It's been my pleasure to talk with you about this today. If any of you have any further questions or would like any further information, please contact us here in Alexandria. Be happy to talk with you. Thank you and be safe.